Most people say Generation 8 is one of, if not the easiest game in the series. But just how easy is it when you are using one of the weakest in the game? Can you beat Pokemon Sword and Shield using only an Applin? First off, the rules of this challenge are simple. No using items in battle except for held items. Applin is, of course, the only Pokemon that can be used in battle, with some exceptions that I will get to. And lastly, no using the friendship bonuses to avoid or endure attacks. Now let's take a look at Applin's stats. Okay, that's pretty bad, but maybe his move pool will make up for it. Okay, that is worse. However, Applin does have 4 egg moves, which I will be using for the run. Applin also learns Grassy Glide from the Isle of Armor, and Draco Meteor from the Tutor and Attract by TM. I chose Grookey as my starter here because it will make the hop battles easier, and because this will make the final battle with Leon possible. So for my first hop battle, I just use Growl and let Hop defeat me. You can't win the forest battle. I talk to the professor in Wedgehurst, and we make it to Route 2 to our first trainer battle. Grookey takes them down easily. Then we avoid the second trainer and battle the last trainer on this route. This trainer has 2 Pokemon, but after giving Grookey an Oran Berry, I won the battle. Then we are on to our next hop battle. We growl our way to defeat again and receive my Dynamax band, and once I have access to the Y-Com, I trade over my egg and I hatch it and name it. Applin has an impish nature, meaning his special attack is lowered, but his defense is higher, which is really good for this run because Applin does not use special attacks until getting Draco Meteor in Circhester. Applin also has the ability Ripen, which makes berries that are held have double effect. This is important for the run, as not being able to use healing items combined with a low speed and low special defense makes consistent healing key. The Ripen ability paired with one of the egg moves that was learned Recycle makes this run possible, as Applin's other abilities make the run impossible. However, Ripen is a common ability, so that's not a big issue. The other moves that are Applin's egg moves are Rollout, Defense Curl, and Sucker Punch. Rollout and Defense Curl are great moves if used in tandem, as Defense Curl raises the power of Rollout. Astonish, which is a move Applin learns normally, will also be used. So after hatching Applin, I give him an Oran Berry, as he is level 1 and has 12 HP. It takes me around 15 minutes to defeat my first Wooloo because of Defense Curl and Wooloo's high defense stat. I finally begin to level him up and go back to begin to train to do some early EV training until I'm level 8 and then head off to the wild area. I get 2 more levels before heading into Motostoke and signing up for the gym challenge and then going to the hotel to battle some Marnie fans. I defeat them both, then go to the gym, and I'm ready for the next hop fight. A defense curl and some rollouts defeat him pretty easily. I continue to Route 3 and defeat trainers and EV train for extra points in attack, special defense, and defense. I continue to proceed down the route battling trainers and I reach Galar Mine. I do the same until I reach the first bead fight. This fight is slightly difficult, but I use Sucker Punch, Recycle, and Rollout to defeat him on the second attempt. I battle trainers on the outskirts of Turffield until Honeycrisp is level 17, then reach Turffield and talk to Sonia, and I'm ready to face the first gym. We go through the gym and battle Milo at level 17. We resist grass 4 times, so his magical leaf attacks don't do much damage. Round does damage, as Applin has low special defense, but our Oran Berry heals us back. We roll out the Gossifleur. The Eldegoss's max overgrowth does little damage, and Rollout continues to hit Eldegoss and defeats it in only 2 hits, and Gym 1 is down without even Dynamaxing. After Milo, I go on to Route 5 and pick up the Attract TM, and after collecting Attract, I head back to Wedgehurst Station to start the Isle of Armor DLC. Applin can learn a tutor move from this DLC, which is Grassy Glide. Grassy Glide is a 70 base power move. which Applin will gain a stab bonus for using. It has 100% accuracy, and also has priority if used when grassy terrain is on the field, which can be set up using max overgrowth. I defeat Avery at the gate with ease and go to the dojo. I then meet and then battle Mustard, and Rollout takes out Shinx and Mean Fu, and I get my dojo outfit. Some slowpokes steal Avery's dojo uniform, and the child is tasked with getting it. These slowpoke are quite annoying, as Acid, Yawn, and Disable make these battles longer than necessary. However, Avery still gets his uniform back. Mustard offers me a Kanto starter, so I pick Bulbasaur, but I won't use him until some double battles. After this, the move tutor becomes available and Grassy Glide is learned. I head back to Route 5 and defeat a trainer that gave me trouble earlier and ready to battle to get the bike. Grassy Glide is pretty good this early in the game, so I get the bike and move down the bridge until I reach yet another hop battle. Both of us set up defense curls. He continues to defense curl while I Grassy Glide. After attacking 3 times, he uses a potion and heals Wooloo up. After this, I decided to switch to Rollout, which hits 3 times but doesn't KO yet, so after Wooloo uses a growl to lower my attack, Grassy Glide finally takes him down. Corvisquire takes a Rollout and Applin tanks, Pex and Fury attacks until Applin finally hits a Rollout again, and Corvisquire gets taken down from a critical Rollout. Drizzle takes the 3rd Rollout and Hop is defeated once again. After this, I make it to Hulbury. I go find Nessa by the lighthouse and go to challenge the gym, and after defeating the final gym trainer, I am ready to face Nessa at level 23. Nessa first sends out a Goldeen, which uses a horn attack, which does little damage. Applin puts Goldeen into the red with a Grassy Glide. Goldeen uses horn attack once again, which does little damage, and Honeycrisp takes it down with a Grassy Glide. Nessa then sends out Aroscuda, which uses bite. It does 9 damage, and Applin puts him into the red with Grassy Glide. Aroscuda then bites on the next turn, putting Applin into the yellow and causing a flinch. Aroscuda uses bite again on the next turn, which triggers Applin's Mago Berry, which heals him back to almost full. Grassy Glide takes down Aroscuda, and Nessa is down to her Dreadnought. We both Dynamax our Pokemon here, and Dreadnought used Max Strike against my Applin, which does a fair chunk of damage. Applin uses a Max Overgrowth, which puts Dreadnought into the yellow and sets up Grassy Terrain. Both Pokemon heal from Grassy Terrain. Dreadnought then uses Max Darkness, which does another fair chunk of damage, but another Max Overgrowth takes down Dreadnought, and Nessa is defeated. After beating Nessa, I'm off to the second mine. When I arrive, I must battle Bede once again. This Bede battle is a pain because of Applin's bad special defense versus all special attackers. I decide to grind on lower level Pokemon in the mine like Choodle, Binacle, and Shuckle to train attack and defense. I return to battle Bede at level 28. With these new levels, I can one-shot Solstice and can get the Gothita down to the red. Bede uses a super potion, and I Grassy Glide to put it into the yellow. Gothita uses Psybeam and confuses Applin, but I hit Grassy Glide and take it down. Ponyta comes down, and I hit a Sucker Punch to take Ponyta into the yellow, but Ponyta hits a Fairy Wind to take me into the red and activate my berry. I Sucker Punch again to take down the Ponyta. Then comes down the Hatenna, and I use my last Sucker Punch. Hatenna uses Psybeam to damage Applin, but Grassy Glide then is able to take down the Hatenna. I proceed through the mine and find Kabu and proceed to the Motostoke Gym. I first have to go to the hotel, and here I challenge Marnie again, and I will use a Tract and a Citrus Berry for this battle. Krogunk, having Venoshock, is very dangerous, so I must attract the Krogunk so it cannot attack me every turn. This allows me to recycle berries and use Grassy Glide to take it down. Scraggy gets 2 lucky flinches with headbutts, but goes down to 2 Grassy Glides. I recycle berries on Morpeko and then attract it. This way it cannot hit Applin every turn. After this, it is pretty easy with Grassy Glides. Marnie uses a super potion, but it doesn't matter, and Morpeko goes down. The Motostoke Gym Challenge is a different challenge because of 2v1 battles. However, with rollout, most of these fire types are able to be taken down easily, and I'm ready to face Kabu at level 33. Kabu is difficult, and after a few attempts I head back to Route 3 to train Special Defense EVs and Attack EVs. I attempt for the 6th time at level 37. Ninetales gets the upper hand and hits a Will-O-Wisp, while Applin uses a Defense Curl. Ninetales uses an Ember and I use a Rollout. Ninetales uses another Ember and Applin eats his Citrus Berry. The next rollout takes down the Ninetales and Kabu, then sends out Arcanine. On Arcanine, Applin has to set up on it. Applin sets up a couple of defense curls and recycles. This way Flame Wheel deals little damage. Now, as strange as it looks, I must take down Arcanine using Grassy Glide. This is because rollout locks you into the move and you can't use any other move. If I do this, then I cannot Dynamax, and I need to Dynamax to survive a Max Flutterby. So I use up almost all of my Grassy Glide PP to get it into the red. After Arcanine is in the red, I Dynamax and defeat Arcanine with a Max Rockfall. Then it is time for G-Max Centiskorch. Max Flutterby gets me into the yellow and activates my Citrus Berry again. Max Rockfall does around a quarter of Centiskorch's HP. Then Centiskorch uses G-Max Centinferno, and I use another Max Rockfall to take Centiskorch into the yellow. I then lose Dynamax, but get lucky as Centiskorch uses G-Max Centinferno. I then can get off another Recycle and the G-Max wears off. After we are both back to our normal sizes, Centiskorch starts to use Smokescreen to lower my accuracy. However, I hit a rollout, a Grassy Glide and a rollout after getting my accuracy lowered twice, and Kabu is finally defeated. I proceed to Stow on Side for the next gym leader. I reach Stow on Side and it's time for another hop fight. I use a defense curl and roll out the Cramorant. I roll out the rest of Hop's team, Okoing Toxel, Drizzle, and Sandacobra. I make my way through the teacups and the gym trainers until I'm ready to face Alistair. Alistair is one of the hardest battles in the run. The reason this battle is so difficult is that Applin loses Ripen because of making contact with Yamask and gaining the Wandering Spirit ability. This means that berries are not as efficient as they would normally be, meaning I have less time to set up and/or stall. I started this battle at level 42, however Gengar's Max Ooze is so powerful that there is nothing else to do but level up. I attempted this fight about 12 times. I gave up at around the 7th attempt and went to the Isle of Armor to grind Special Defense EVs. At level 54, I try again. I use Grassy Glide to KO Yamask, however Yamask does give Applin Wandering Spirit. Alistair then sends out Mimikyu. Mimikyu gets a Hone Claws off, and I use Grassy Glide to break the decoy. Mimikyu then uses another Hone Claws, and Grassy Glide sends it into the yellow. I then Dynamax and finish Mimikyu off with a Max Overgrowth. Alistair then sends out Cursola, and Applin KOs it. Then comes the dreaded Gengar. Alistair G-Max the Gengar and uses a Max Ooze. This takes Applin to around half health with the help of some Dynamax candies. I then use a Max Phantasm to take Gengar into the yellow. Max Phantasm lowers Gengar's defense. This allows Applin to Sucker Punch and finally take down the Gengar and get the Ghost Badge. I exit the gym and have to go handle something about some kids vandalizing historic sites, and I face Bede again. I one-shot the Duocean with Grassy Glide. Bede sends out Hatterene and I hit another Grassy Glide, and Hatterene uses a Dazzling Gleam which puts Applin to half HP. Applin then takes the Hatterene down with another Grassy Glide. Ponyta uses Agility 3 times and I fail 3. Sucker Punches in a row, but I one-shot Ponyta with the 4th Sucker Punch. Gothorita comes down and I hit it for around half health with Grassy Glide. Gothorita uses Psybeam and does a little bit of damage. But the last Sucker Punch takes down the Gothorita and Bede is defeated. Some ancient cave painting collapses and I head into the woods to go to Ballinlay. These gym battles are back-to-back, basically. However, there is a very important item that can be obtained here. I head into this house, and there is a trainer that can be battled to obtain the Eviolite item. This is the second held item I will be using. Since Applin is an unevolved Pokemon, Eviolite gives it a defense and special defense boost. I proceed to the gym and battle the gym trainers. Even though Applin is weak to fairy-type attacks, I can answer questions about the gym leader to get a stat boost, and Eviolite helps Applin tank more attacks, so future battles aren't that hard. I battle through the 3 gym trainers, and I am ready to battle Opal. I have only gained 1 Evil since Alistair, so Applin is level 55, with a moveset of Attract, Rollout, Grassy Glide, and Recycle, and is holding a Citrus Berry. First up is Wheezing, and I take my time setting up defense curls and recycles and stalling with Attract to collect the stat boosting questions. I Dynamax my Applin and Wheezing goes down with all 3 max overgrowths. Next, she sends out Togekiss. I start Rollout on Togekiss and dodge a critical from Air Slash. However, it still does enough damage to activate by Citrus Berry again. Both Pokemon trades attacks. Rollout hits again, and Togekiss is down. Opal sends out Mawile, which lowers my attack. However, Opal's next question, which I answer 16 to raise my attack, so I am up 1 stage. I hit Rollout on Mawile and take it down. She then sends out and G-Maxes Alcremie. Rollout is powerful enough to one-shot G-Max Alcremie, and Opal is defeated. I receive the Fairy Badge and proceed with Opal to Hammerlock, where there is another hop battle. This battle is pretty easy. Just roll out the Trevenant, Heatmore, and Snorlax and use Grassy Glide on Boltund and Inteleon. I stay and train a little bit on Thavel and Leopards for some special defense. It doesn't take me long before I'm in Sir Chester and I'm going to challenge the gym. Some of you may be asking why face Melanie on Shield when you could face Gordy in Sword. For that, I have 3 reasons. First, I like more of a challenge. Second, I would have a type advantage against Gordy, meaning an easier battle. And third, I didn't buy Sword. With that being said, Melanie is one of the hardest fights in the game, if you do what I did at the beginning. I messed up and forgot something important and way over-leveled for this fight. But still, Melanie is an Ice-type gym leader, which Applin has a 4 times weakness against, so my concerns were not absurd. I tried this battle over and over, but could not get past Melanie's 3rd Pokemon Eiscue, which has a special ability, Ice Face, which absorbs an entire physical attack, and I need to knock it out in 1 shot, so I can have enough health to face G-Max Lapras. So while on Route 9 leveling up, I figured it out. At level 80, I head back to Sirchester and go to the Move Tutor. Applin can learn Draco Meteor, which is the only special move Applin can learn. Ice Face doesn't work with special moves, so equipped with an Eviolite and Draco Meteor, Grassy Glide, and Rollout, I try to defeat Melanie in my 11th or so attempt. Melanie first sends out Frostmoth, which gets taken down from a Rollout. Melanie then sends out Darmanitan and uses Icicle Crash that flinches Applin. This is a blessing in disguise, as Applin is no longer locked into Rollout. I Dynamax and tank another Icicle Crash and use Max Overgrowth and take it down. Then Melanie sends out Eiscue, which I one-shot with Max Wormwind. Then it is time for G-Max Lapras, which I one-shot with a Max Overgrowth. And with that, I made Melanie a lot harder than it had to be, and I collect the Ice Badge. After the gym battle, Hop insists on battling again. I change my moveset back before this fight to have Recycle and Defense Curl. Hop sends out Dubwool, and we both spend time setting up Defense Curls. Dubwool lowers my attack a couple of times with Growl and hits some takedowns, but after 2 rollouts and the help from the hail, Dubwool goes down. Corviknight goes down to the next 2 rollouts. I miss the 5th rollout on Snorlax and have to take a lot of damage from Body Slam and the hail as I set up more rollouts, and Snorlax goes down in 3 hits. Inteleon uses a tearful look and gets taken down with the 4th rollout. Hop sends out Pincurchin and it gets taken down with the 5th rollout. With that Hop battle down, I proceed down Route 9 and proceed along the bay up the next route to Spikemuth. I meet Marnie and we battle again. She sends out Leopard and I roll out. Marnie uses a potion, but Rollout takes it out and then proceeds to sweep the rest of her team. After that, I proceed into Spikemuth to complete the worst gym in the game, in my opinion. This gym requires you to have 2 Pokemon in your party to challenge it, so I get the Bulbasaur from earlier. However, it gains so many levels that before I even get to the double battle, I decide to go back to Route 1 and catch a Squovet to use instead of Bulbasaur because it still makes you use 2 Pokemon. So at level 82, I am ready to fight Piers, and I win the first fight, but Applin gets taken down from Skuntank's aftermath, but Squovet was still up, so I didn't count this as a success, and I tried it again. I also didn't realize you could just put your partner away with the remote link, so Applin is back solo. For this battle, I used my standard moveset of Grassy Glide, Rollout, Defense Curl, and Recycle, and a Citrus Berry. Scrafty intimidates, then gets a free hit with Fake Out. I hit it back with Grassy Glide, and Scrafty repays with a payback. Grassy Glide hits again and puts Scrafty into the red, and Piers doesn't heal up, so Grassy Glide takes Scrafty down. Piers then sends in Malamar, and Applin hits a Grassy Glide, and Malamar hits a Foul Play. Malamar then hits a critical Foul Play, which causes Applin to eat its berry. Applin hits a Grassy Glide, which puts Malamar into the red. Malamar uses another Foul Play, but goes down to another Grassy Glide. Piers then sends out Obstagoon. I have to dance around Obstruct, so I have to predict when Piers is going to use it. I recycle and Defense Curl, dodging the first Obstruct and taking a Throat Chop, then hitting a Grassy Glide for about a fifth of Obstagoon's HP. I dodge some Obstructs, but my defense is high from Defense Curl, so I can take the defense drop. After I whittle down Obstagoon's HP, I roll out to take it down, but I made sure to recycle before, so Applin has good health and a berry at the ready. Piers then sends in Skuntank, which uses a Snarl. Rollout does about half health. Skuntank then uses Toxic, but Rollout takes it down, and Aftermath doesn't deal enough damage, and with that I have received the Dark Badge. I head back outside and meet Leon, and head back to Hammerlock to challenge Raihan. I do a little bit of training in the wild area until I get Applin to level 93, and I go to the Hammerlock gym. For this one, I'm going to need to get my buddy back, as this gym is double battles only. I won't change my moveset until I face Raihan. The first battle I take Pelper down with a Rollout and the Sliggoo with Grassy Glide. The second battle, Ninetales goes down to a Rollout, and Applin takes down Turtonator with Rollout. The next battle I take both Pokemon down with Rollouts and a critical Grassy Glide. And with that I end the final gym challenge at level 93, and I'm ready to take on the last gym leader, but I throw the first attempt so I can relearn Draco Meteor. Squovet is still my partner in this battle. I instantly Dynamax, and Flygon uses a Breaking Swipe, which lowers Applin's attack. Applin takes down Flygon with a Max Overgrowth, and Gigalith uses a Body Press. Raihan then sends out a Sandaconda that instantly goes down to another Max Overgrowth. Gigalith uses another Body Press, but it does very little. Raihan then sends out G-Max Duraludon, which Applin takes down with a Max Wormwind. Gigalith continues to do nothing. Applin then returns to normal and uses Grassy Glide and puts Gigalith to 1 HP. Gigalith attacks, but Applin finishes it off with Grassy Glide, and with that I have earned the Dragon Badge. After this I make it through Victory Road without an issue, and after I get to Wyndon I head into the Pokemon Center and stock up on EV drinks. Here is my final Applin stats at level 94. He is quite bulky in physical defense, however most of the major battles beyond this point have a lot of powerful special attackers. After this I head to the arena and face the Gym Challengers Cup. Marnie is first, and I give my Applin a Mago Berry for this battle. This way Applin can heal a lot more, but only if he gets to a quarter health. I will also be using a moveset of Recycle, Rollout, Sucker Punch, and Grassy Glide. Marnie starts with Leopard and goes for a nasty plot, but goes down to a Grassy Glide. Then comes the Toxicroak that uses Toxic, which puts a timer on this battle. Applin then uses Grassy Glide and puts Toxicroak in the yellow. Toxicroak then tries a Swagger, but it misses and goes down to a Grassy Glide. Marnie then sends down Scrafty, which goes into the yellow from a Grassy Glide. Scrafty uses a scary face, then lands a swagger in Applin, then hits himself. Then the poison lets Applin eat his berry and restores his health to near full. I then Dynamax and take a crunch and land a max overgrowth, taking down the Scrafty. Morpeko then comes down and hits a bite, then goes down to a max overgrowth. Marnie then sends out G-Max Grimmsnarl and hits a max Starfall, but it only does a little but then goes down to a max overgrowth, and Marnie is defeated. Next up is the last battle with Hop. I use the exact same moveset and item for this battle. Hop starts with Dubwool and uses a Body Slam, and I use Rollout. Dubwool uses a Cotton Guard, and I hit another Rollout. Hop then uses Body Slam, and Applin uses another Rollout. This puts Dubwool into the red, which causes Hop to use a potion, and Applin hits another Rollout, but fails to take it down. Dubwool hits another Body Slam, and the fifth Rollout takes out Dubwool. Hop sends in Corviknight, which uses a Drill Peck, which does a good amount of damage. Then Applin starts up Rollout again. Another Drill Peck sends Applin into the red, and Rollout takes out Corviknight. And after a nerve is gone, Applin eats the berry and heals. Hop sends in Pinchurchin, which goes down to a Rollout. Hop then sends in Snorlax, and Applin takes it down with the last Rollout. Next comes the Inteleon, which Hop Dynamaxes and I return. Hop uses a max Hailstorm, which does a lot of damage, but Applin survives and takes down Inteleon with a max Overgrowth, and with that, Hop is defeated. After this, I am tasked with finding Macrocosmos, which are not that big of a challenge, and after I head to the train station to go to the Winden Tower to confront Rose, we have some double battles in the elevator with Hop, and we reach the top of the tower and meet Oleana and battle her. This battle is not easy because she has several poison types and G-Max Garbodor, but after a couple of attempts I beat her. She sends out Frostlass first, which misses a Will-O-Wisp and goes down to a Grassy Glide. She then sends out Salazzle, which misses a Poison Gas and gets taken down by 2 Rollouts. Serena is sent in next, which uses Attract, and Applin misses the next Rollout. I Dynamax and tank an Acrobatics and hit a max Overgrowth, which does about 2/3 of Serena's health. She uses a Trop Kick, which lowers Applin's attack, but goes down to another max Overgrowth. She then sends out Milotic, which uses Aqua Ring, but gets taken down by a max Overgrowth. Next comes the Garbodor, which G-Maxes and takes a hit from Grassy Glide and lowers its defense due to weak armor. Garbodor then hits Applin with a G-Max Malodor, which poisons Applin but causes him to eat his Citrus Berry. I stall Garbodor's G-Max by using Recycle twice and tanking max attacks. After this, I start using Sucker Punch until Garbodor is defeated. Now after this, I can go back and challenge the Champions Cup. For Bead, I switch my moveset back to Defense Curl, Rollout, Recycle, and Grassy Glide. I start by setting up 6 Defense Curls while Mawile takes me to near half health. I hit it into the yellow with Grassy Glides and recycle my Citrus Berry to heal back to near full, while Mawile keeps using Play Rough. After this, Bead heals up Mawile, and I continue hit with Grassy Glide until it's down. I have a close call with the Gardevoir's Dazzling Gleam, after a Calm Mind, and I reuse a Citrus Berry and take it down with 2 Grassy Glides. Rapidash comes in, and I recycle my berry and tank Psycho Cuts, and I hit it with a Grassy Glide. Rapidash uses a Dazzling Gleam that does a good chunk of damage, but my berry heals Applin up. Next turn I Dynamax and tank another Dazzling Gleam, and use a max Overgrowth to take it down. Hatterene comes down and G-Maxes, and I use a Max Guard. Next turn I use Max Overgrowth, which does about 3/4 of Hatterene's HP, and Hatterene fires off a Max Smite, which almost takes down Applin. But Dynamax wears off, and I'm able to fight the confusion and Grassy Glide to defeat Bead. Next up is Nessa, and this battle is a cakewalk. Nessa sends in Golisopod and uses First Impression, which does around 1/4 health, but Grassy Glide forces it out with Emergency Exit. Barraskewda comes in and uses an Ice Fang, which does about half damage, but Applin heals it off with the Citrus Berry, then takes it and Seeking Down with Grassy Glide. Golisopod re-enters and First Impressions again, but goes down to Grassy Glide. Pelper enters and sets up rain and tailwind while Applin recycles. I Dynamax next turn and tank an air slash and eat another berry and take out Pelper with a max overgrowth. G-Max Dreadnought comes out and uses max Rockfall, which does little damage, and Applin takes down Nessa and Dreadnought with a max overgrowth. Next up is my nemesis Alistair, but this battle is easier than the first. The moveset for this battle is Recycle, Rollout, Sucker Punch, and Grassy Glide. I start with a Grassy Glide to take Dusknoir into the yellow, and Dusknoir lowers my speed with a Rock Tomb. Dusknoir uses Disable and prevents Grassy Glide from being used, but I start with Rollout to do another quarter to Dusknoir. Shadow Punch does little and Rollout takes it down. Chandelure comes in and Will-O-Wisps Applin, but Rollout is enough to take it down. Poltegeist uses Protect, which stops Rollout, so next turn I Grassy Glide while it uses Nasty Plot, but I Sucker Punch next turn to take it down. I Grassy Glide the Cursula, which does a little over half, and Cursula uses a Hex, which almost takes down Applin, but Citrus Berry heals up back to the green. I Dynamax Applin, and Applin takes another Hex, but he finishes off Cursula with a max Overgrowth. Then comes the dreaded G-Max Gengar. Max Ooze puts Applin into red, and Applin fires back with a max Darkness, which does 3/4 HP to Gengar. I Max Guard to stall out my Dynamax, and as it wears off I Sucker Punch to take down Gengar and beat Alistair. The final member is Raihan. I will finally use a new moveset of Recycle Draco Meteor Rollout and Defense Curl, and Applin made it to level 100. Torkoal starts the battle with a Yawn, and I accidentally use Recycle. Next turn I get the Defense Curl off while Torkoal uses Yawn again, and Applin falls asleep at the end of the turn. Applin is still napping, and Torkoal gets a Lava Plume off for some damage. He then wakes up next turn and hits the Rollout, and tanks another Lava Plume. Rollout takes down Torkoal next turn. Turtonator goes down to a Rollout. Flygon sets up a Sandstorm but goes down to the 4th Rollout, and the 5th takes out the Goodra after it sets up the Rain. Up next is an epic battle of dragons, the Empire State Building versus the Big Apple. Duraludon uses a Max Steel Spike, which doesn't do much to Applin. Max Wormwind puts Duraludon into the red, but Raihan uses a potion, but Max Wormwind keeps it in the red. Duraludon fires off a G-Max Depletion, but after 2 attack debuffs it does little, and it goes down to Max Wormwind. And with that, Raihan is down and the Champion Cup is over. Hop and I set out to find an old rusty sword and a shield. We head back to Hammerlock and confront Chairman Rose. This is another really difficult battle due to every attack we have is resisted by his whole team. No matter, the world is on the cusp of destruction, and a 10-year-old must save the world. Rose starts with Escavalier, which has a deadly Megahorn. I start with a Defense Curl, and Megahorn does about 1/3 of Applin's HP. Applin uses a Defense Curl again, and tanks another Megahorn. I Defense Curl again and Megahorn hits again. This attack activates and eats its berry to heal it to near full. I Recycle and Escavalier uses Swords Dance. I Roll Out, which does almost half, and Escavalier hits another Megahorn. 85 accuracy, by the way. Roll Out takes it down next turn. Next comes Ferrothorn, and it goes down in 2 rollouts, but Iron Barbs deals enough damage to trigger Ripen, and Applin heals up. Next comes Berserker, and Rollout misses, but Shadow Claw does little. I use Recycle, and Berserker uses Shadow again. I Defense Curl again, and Berserker uses Iron Head, which still doesn't do much. I get to 5 stages in defense while Berserker hits a critical Shadow Claw. I hit a Defense Curl boosted Rollout, which takes Berserker to half health, and Rollout hits again to take it out next turn. Clink Clang comes in and hits a Gear Grind, but critical Rollout takes it out. Rose G-Maxes Copperaja, but Rollout hits and takes it down, and Chairman Rose is done for. I go to the top of the Hammerlock Castle and one-shot the floating parasite with a Draco Meteor. It G-Maxes, and Hop and I attempt to take it down while the only adult nearby watches. A couple of stray dogs join the fight, and after some Draco meteors and the help from those dogs, I catch the floating parasite, and finally I can have some peace and go battle Leon, but before I search around until I find a couple of PP ups to use on Sucker Punch. I prepare for battle, and my moveset will be Recycle, Roll Out, Sucker Punch, and Defense Curl, and Imago Berry as the held item. Even though I have planned this battle out, this battle is 99% RNG, and it took probably around 25 attempts, but then the stars aligned. Now pause. Leon's 5th Pokemon changes with whatever starter you give him. I gave him Scorbunny, which means Leon has a Seismitoad. If I had picked Scorbunny, I would have had to deal with a Mr. Rhyme, which would have been impossible to take down. If I had chose Sobble, it would have been a Mega Horn Rhyperior, which would have to be dealt with without Grassy Glide somehow. Leon leads with Aegislash. This part is make or break because of predicting King Shield. If a physical attack hits King Shield, it will lower attack by 2 stages, which means restart. So, in between King Shields, I Defense Curl and Recycle, and use a Sucker Punch to take Aegislash into the yellow. Applin still has to tank Shadow Balls and flash cannons. After I set up 4 Defense Curls and having recycled a berry, I Sucker Punch to take down the Aegislash. Next comes Haxorus, which uses an Outrage, which does a large chunk of damage, and I get the 5th Defense Curl up. Outrage hits again, which gets me low, but not low enough to pop the berry, and I start the rollout. Outrage hits again and cuts it close, but Applin heals it off, and rollout sends Haxorus to 1 HP. Leon uses a full restore, but rollout takes it down next turn. Next in is Dragapult, which uses a Dragon Breath, and Applin avoids getting paralyzed and takes it down with rollout. Next up is Cinderace, which uses an Acrobatics, which does a little bit of damage but goes down to a rollout. Next in is Seismitoad, which uses a Drain Punch, and Applin recycles his berry and he eats it instantly. Seismitoad then uses Toxic, and Applin recycles his berry again. I then Dynamax my Applin, and Seismitoad does 8 damage with Earthquake, and then goes down to a 3rd HP with a Max Darkness. The Toad Earthquakes for nothing and then goes down to Max Darkness. Then Leon sends the big bad Ace Charizard and G-Maxes it. Charizard uses a Max Airstream, which almost takes down Applin, but he holds on with 50 HP left, and he fires back with a Max Rockfall to one-shot the Charizard. And with that, the unbeatable champion is beaten, with only an apple. If you liked the video, then hit the like button and subscribe. And if you have any suggestions for other challenges, leave them in the comments below. And with that, the video is over.